The Northern Cape government is set to go ahead with the plan to compel municipalities to regularly update communities with water quality. This comes after the recent water report released by Water and Sanitation Minister Senzo Mchunu. The report revealed that the province has a poor drinking water system. Joining us to discuss this further is Iketletso Lekalake, who is the Department of Water and Sanitation Provincial Head in the Northern Cape. Iketletso, thank you for making time for us this afternoon. Let's start maybe with just reminding our viewers what the quality of water is in the Northern Cape.
Good afternoon to yourself and the viewers at home. Yes, indeed, the water quality in the province has been reported that our systems are not performing adequately as they should. And in order for our systems to report adequately or to perform adequately, we need a certain level of standard in terms of water quality. And in terms of the Northern Cape systems that we've analyzed, we find that they are falling below par, below the parameters that they are supposed to be operating at. And we've got 87% of our systems that are either poor or critical. And this is a deterioration from the last blue drop scoring.
Yes, and I mean, that's a big increase from the figures of 2012, when it was just at about 48% or so of the systems that were problematic. It looks like there are issues here around infrastructure challenges. What is government doing to try and invest in infrastructure to fix this problem?
Well, there are various interventions that we are doing as government. And the first intervention that I can cite to you is that we find that the biggest problem that our municipalities are struggling with is that the infrastructure needs upgrades, or it needs to be refurbished, or we've got poor operations and maintenance, or we've got schemes that require additional resource development. Now, in these three categories, we support municipalities through grant funding. That is the biggest support that we give them. Our grants are the Regional Bulk Infrastructure Grant and the Water Services Improvement Grant, the WISIF projects. So we are investing in the municipalities to address these deficiencies. And when we look at the business plans that they are submitting to us in terms of their needs, we start by analyzing whether they're addressing most of the challenges that were raised by the drop reports.
Okay, let's talk about what municipalities are expected to do. My understanding is that they have to inform communities about the status of water quality at least monthly, but that hasn't been happening, has it?
Well, what the municipalities are doing is that if there is a challenge, if there is an indication in one of the samples that they've tested that there is a challenge, they ought to notify the communities. So they are obliged to notify the communities and inform them of the challenge or whatever parameter that is causing a problem in the water quality, and also to give them an alternative, and also to advise them as to how they could then ensure that their water is safe to drink. And in most instances, the municipalities have been communicating. We find that the communication might not be so strong. We need to enhance the communication, but they are making use of various platforms, as well as the ward councillors and the ward committees, to try and get word out. But, there are remote areas where connectivity is a problem, and also the distances are a problem. So those are areas that we need to ensure that the message reaches even the person that is the furthest from the urban centers, so that they are aware. But they are obliged to inform the communities, not just monthly. If this happens any time during a month cycle, they must inform the communities.
Okay, and is there consequence management? What happens if they fail to do that?
Well, we are the regulator and we enforce compliance. So in most instances, we work very well with the municipalities if they have a challenge. I can cite a recent example of DWS municipality, where the river was having an algal bloom. And the residents themselves also notified the municipality and notified the province and said, but wait a minute, there's something wrong with our water. And the municipality then subsequently contacted the department. We went out there with the municipality. The district municipality supported them with the testing, and we also then ran our independent testing. And these are issues that we take together with the municipalities, and we immediately issue a media statement, and we immediately ensure that the local radio stations are aware of the challenge that has been experienced. And we then advise the community not to consume water directly from the river source.
Okay. So even when residents are advised that the quality of water is not of drinking standard, what alternatives are there for them? Because even boiling water, for instance, is not always going to be possible as an option in cases where there's no power.
Well, in cases where there is a challenge with the water quality or water supply, where there's an interruption, the municipalities would normally organize or arrange for water tankering, and this is how the water would then be disseminated to the various areas, and they would frequently then ensure that these water tankers are then refilled, and they are supported by the Provincial Department of COCTA, and they ensure that the municipalities are able to support the communities to have access to water that is safe to consume.
Yeah. And how intentional are the municipalities in ensuring that there is repair and maintenance budgets that are allocated, and there's constant monitoring and evaluation of that infrastructure?
That is actually a very important point. One of the points that we always make sure that we emphasize with the municipalities when we evaluate their business plans for infrastructure, we look at even the Municipal Infrastructure Grant, MIG. We also have a committee where we sit and support the provincial office and the municipalities to look at their business plans. And one of the first things we check is, does the municipality indicate a budget for operations and maintenance? And ordinarily, the municipality would say, yes, the municipality has set aside an operations and maintenance budget for this infrastructure. But after the infrastructure is constructed, we know that there's this latent defect period of about 12 months. So in that 12 months, the contractor would have some mechanical monitoring that he's doing. But post that 12 months, that's when we start to realize problems. The municipalities are not adequately monitoring and maintaining the operating and maintaining the systems. You find that some municipalities don't even have technical teams, and if some don't have technical teams and others don't have sufficient technical teams. So a big municipality like Soplaki, for example, you'd find that they don't have sufficient technical teams, although they do have some. And then you find a municipality like Mtanjeni, which then reports that they don't have technical teams. So it takes them a bit longer to address the challenges.
Okay. Iketletso Lekalake, thank you for making time for us.